Hello everybody. In this guitar lesson I'm going to show you how to play She's Not There by the Zombies. Now I'll teach you how to play this song in the original key the Zombies used, which was A minor. But there's also another really good version by Santana. So if you like the Santana version, hang on till the end of the lesson and I'll show you how to play that version. That's actually in G minor, a tone lower than the Zombies. Now She's Not There is a song that's got a really lovely, interesting chord progression, but it's also interesting rhythmically as well. Now often we'll find that the chords change every 2 beats, so sort of halfway through a bar, but they don't change on the beat, they tend to change just before the beat, on the and before the beat, so they're pushed. So we'll also look at that. I'll show you a strumming pattern and we'll start with the verse. Okay, She's Not There is quite complex in terms of its chord structure, so we'll divide it up into bits and we'll start with the first part of the verse, and I'll begin by showing you a demo of the first part of the verse. Here we go. Well, no one told me about her, the way she lies. So let me show you how to play that then. So we start with an A minor. Well, no one, let me go to D major, told me her. And the next chord is actually A minor 7. About A minor 7 is very similar to A minor, except we're not putting that ring finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. We're leaving the 3rd string open. So that's your A minor 7. About, let me go to D again. Back to a regular A minor. Then we go to F major, way she lied, and back to A minor again. And then there's a final D major chord, and that's then the end of the first part of the verse. Now there was one bar chord in that first part of the verse, the F major there, and if you do find bar chords a bit tricky, there are a couple of other options for playing that F major. One is to finger it like this, so here you're playing from the 5th string down, not playing the 6th string, and you're just barring the top 2 strings with your index finger there, so that's easier. Or another option, which actually works quite well in the context of this song, is to play an F major 7 instead. That looks like this, and you can just play from the 4th string down and you don't have to bar anything. So there are some other options for playing that F major chord. Okay, let's have a look at the rhythm, in particular when we're changing the chords, because if we establish that now in the first part of the verse, then you'll be able to follow the same pattern during the rest of the song. So we'll look at the rhythm next. She's Not There is in 4/4 time, which means that there are 4 beats in every bar. Now, in this part of the song, we're going to change chords at the beginning of every bar and halfway through every bar. And usually that would mean that we change on beat 1 and beat 3 of the bar. But in She's Not There, the chords are pushed. And that means that we're going to change before beat 1 and before beat 3. And in fact, we're going to change on the and before beat 1 and the and before beat 3. Now, the best way for me to get this across to you, I think, is just by demonstrating. So I'm going to count out the rhythm for you, and then I'm going to layer on the chords. And let me show you how this works. So the rhythm is like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And if we put the chords on top of that, we get this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And if I just keep on playing that rhythm and then I put the singing on top, you'll see how it works. Here we go. Well, no one told me about her, the way she lied. So you can see there, the chords are pushed, they're changing on the and before beat 1 and before beat 3. Now there are some exceptions, so right at the start of the song you might notice that I began on beat 1, and there are some chords later on which will stay for a whole bar, so you play the same chord throughout a whole bar. But when you do change halfway through a bar, it's going to be on the and before beat 3, and then you're going to change again on the and before beat 1, as I showed you there. Okay, let's move on to the second part of the verse now. This is similar to the first part of the verse, except for the end of it, which is a little bit different. So, second part of the verse goes like this. I'll demo it first. Well, no one told me about her, how many people cried. So you probably spotted there the difference is in the very last chord, which is an A major rather than an A minor, and you stay on that A major for a whole bar rather than going from an A minor to the D major. So just quickly let's go through that then. So the chords there, A minor, oh no one, D major, told me A minor 7 about D major, A minor, how many, F major, people cried, then to A major for a bar. Okay then, the third part of the verse goes like this. I'll demo it first. It's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? So let's take a look at that then. So we start with half a bar on D major. It's too late to, then half a bar on D minor. Say then a bar on A minor, so a whole bar on this chord. Sorry, how would I? Then a whole bar on E minor. No, why should I? And back to A minor for another whole bar. Care. Let's look at the fourth part of the verse now then. I'll play it for you first and then I'll walk you through it. So it'll sound like this. Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. So that is half a bar on D. Please don't bother. Half a bar on D minor. Try to. Then we go to C major for a bar. Find her. She's not. Then we go to E major. There. And then to E7. And that takes us into the next part of the song, which is kind of the crescendo. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the colour of her hair, and all of that. So I'll show you that next. Well, I'm not sure whether She's Not There actually has a chorus or if really it just has a series of very good bits, each of which build on the last bit. But anyway, this particular part of the song I think is my favourite part of the song, and I think of it as the climax of the song. So let me play it through for you first and then I'll show you how to play it. Here we go. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the colour of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there. Okay, let's look at how to play that. Okay then, so we ended the last section of the song on an E7 chord, and that's the same chord that this climactic section begins upon. So, well, let me tell you about the... Now, we're then going to go to an A minor, and we're going to change halfway through and at the beginning of every bar. So every half bar we're going to change chord until we get to the very last chord of this section. So, starting on that E7 then. So let me tell you about the... and then A minor. Way she looked, D. The way she, A minor, acted, the F, colour of her, A minor, hair, D. Her voice was A minor, soft and cool, F major. Her eyes were A minor, clear and bright, D major, but she's not. And now we're going to change to A major and we're going to stay there for 2 whole bars. there. I'll show you a strumming pattern for She's Not There in just a moment. But before I do that, let me just say, if you've been enjoying this lesson, please do hit the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe, because then you'll be notified about all of the future guitar lessons that I release. Let me show you a strumming pattern that I think will work for She's Not There. Now I'll demonstrate this first and then I'll break it down for you and explain how to do it and show you some of the intricacies. So, this is the one I suggest. And that is up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down. Now, let me play it again and count it out for you. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you may have picked out there that the upstrokes are on ands, and the downstrokes are on beats 2 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so on. So those downstrokes on beats 2 and 4 are damped. And to damp them, all I'm doing is I'm taking the pressure, if you like, off of the fingers of my left hand here. So I'm not moving them off the strings, I'm just resting them on top of the strings without pushing down on just beats 2 and 4. So like this. And that's given me a percussive effect. You can do what I did there and bring your little finger over and damp more of the strings on that A minor if you want to. But you want that percussive effect on those downstrokes, and that's really going to emphasize beats 2 and 4. And it's beats 2 and 4 where the snare drum would normally play in rock music, pop music, so on. And that's what gives you the backbeat. So really we're using that damping technique on the downstrokes to provide a kind of backbeat. And I think that's really effective on this song. Well, no one told me about her, the way she lied. Okay then, let's run through the chords for the Santana version of She's Not There, which is in G minor. Now G minor is an unnatural key for guitarists. We don't play in G minor really. So what we're going to do is put a capo at the 3rd fret of our guitars and pretend we're playing in E minor. And the very first chord is going to be E minor, all right? And I'll just take you through the first part of the verse and then we'll go through part by part. So first part of the verse, E minor. Well, no one, and then A major, told me her, back to E minor, 7 this time, E minor 7, about, back to A major, E minor again, and then C major, way she lied, back to E minor. And that's the first part of the verse. Okay then, the second part of the verse for the Santana version is like this, starting again with E minor. Well, no one, A major, told me then E minor 7, about A major, back to E minor, how many, C major, people cried, and then E major. That's the second part of the verse. Okay then, the third part of the verse is like this. It starts on A major. Well, it's too late to A minor. Say E minor. Sorry, how would I? B minor. No, why should I? Back to E minor. Care. Okay then, the fourth part of the verse for the Santana version again starts with A major. Please don't bother, then A minor, trying to and then G major, find her, she's not, then B major, there, B7. Let's look at the last part of the song for the Santana version then. So it starts on that B7. Well, let me tell you about then E minor. The way she looked, A major. The way she, E minor, acted, the C major. Colour of her, E minor, hair, A major. Her voice was E minor, soft and cool, C major. Her eyes were E minor, clear and bright, A major. But she's not, and then we're going to finish on that E major. There.